Now we're getting down to project planning. When you're talking about getting some major maintenance done in the association, it isn't as simple as, okay, we're meeting here, I'd like you to have all the buildings painted by the end of the month. Get me a contractor, make sure he's properly licensed and insured, get me all the proposals I need, I'll select the contractor and have the job done by the end of the month. Isn't going to happen. Fact is, you start talking about here to have it done here, isn't going to happen. Your contractor's probably going to want a month to put the proposal together if it's a major painting project of the entire community. And then you're going to want some time to talk about those proposals you received, so you have to receive them in time. I would think that we need to not only approve his proposal, but then have the follow-up meeting that says, now let's go down to the details of what this job is going to entail and make sure you haven't forgotten anything, that we've made sure every detail's in the proposal and the schedule of work. So we better be prepared to, and he needs a month to do the job, so we better have him start the project here, which means we better have our final approval not later than here, but I want to do some discussions first. So let's make our final approval here. That gives us a month to work on the details of that proposal and the scope of work. Then we can get it down to where we're putting notices out to all the homeowners here, or something like that, for a project that might start here. I kind of fouled that up because I made the start here, not the end. But I think if they're going to start the project here, I better notify my homeowners a month early, because they're planning their vacations and things, and do they want to be in the unit when you're painting it? If their front door has to be unlocked, you better have access to it. So you don't want to call them and tell them about it here for a job that's going to start right after the end of the month, because they've left town and took all their keys with them. And maybe they need to have a neighbor get a key so they can unlock the front door. So we better talk about it early on and then notify the homeowners at least a month in advance, so that there's no glitches with the homeowner leaving town and not making themselves available. Or just the opposite effect. If you're going to have the project take place hoping they'd be out of town, but they were planning a special party that week, the very week their building was going to get painted, they wanted to have a special party. If they know about it well enough in advance, they can reschedule their party. I mean, it's not up to us to plan their party for them or set their date for their party, but certainly if we give them adequate notice, they have no room to complain, why wasn't I told? And they say that a lot, don't they? The why wasn't I told is said a lot. I highly recommend that as you notify people of what's going on, particularly with special projects, that you tell them twice or three times. If you've ever been in business and done advertising with your company, you've probably heard this old story about how the advertising thing works. You get the flyer in the mail. The first time you get it, you throw it away without looking at it. The second time you get it, you might open the envelope and see that it's advertising and then throw it away. And the third time you get it, you might open the envelope and read the material before you throw it away. Or you might even use it and buy products. But the same thing applies to all of our HOA notices. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to our managers and they tell me, oh, my members don't read the stuff that we send them. And then I talk to them myself. I'll say, well, you were notified about that particular project going on back in the newsletter on the first of the month. Oh, I don't read those things. I throw them away. The homeowners tell me that. And I look at them and kind of laugh and go, well, then that's why you don't know. You need to see the stuff. And I honestly don't know how to get our homeowners to read the material we give them and go by the bulletin boards, read the notices. But what we have to do to make sure we've done our job right is make sure we do notify them at least once or twice. And depending on the severity of the project or the severity of the issue, more notification, the better. It's like I tell them when you're going to do do an election for new CC&Rs. You've gone to the trouble to get your attorney, you spent thousands of dollars to get this all done, and it's a tragedy when you get the ballot back and there's not enough ballots to qualify the election, or they didn't pass because they didn't understand us, they voted no. And what I learned many years ago was you start on that process a full year ahead of time. If you're going to have the election in December, we're going to start talking about it in January. by the way, folks, we're working on the CC&Rs. We're looking forward to some great changes that are going to really improve our association. And yeah, we're still working on the CC&Rs, and it's coming together real nicely. We've got a good committee put together, and they're taking care of business on it. And yeah, maybe I'll skip a month or two, and we're still working on the CC&Rs, and they're getting ready to show some changes. We're debating about a particular change we're working on because it doesn't come together like we planned on it, you know, that no parking in the street or something like that, that issue you all been talking about. Well, we're debating on it here, and then I might come in again and say, yep, well, we got that one issue resolved in the CC&Rs, and it's coming together real nicely. By the time you get down to where you're putting the ballot measure out, they're so sick of hearing about it that yes, just yes, get it done. But the nice thing is they are ready to go. They've heard the story. They know it's important, so they're going to be aware of it. The same thing applies to any of the important issues you take care of. And again, for you all, it's getting it on your calendar so that you can really be ahead of the game, taking care of what has to get done and having it set up so it's not forgotten or put off to the last minute.